Hello, welcome to NOLA Stamping. I'm Barb Baldwin and I'm gonna show you my cool 6x8 that I did this month, January 2024, using the Let's Party. So the paper is really bright and vibrant, but it's definitely made for like a birthday. So I wanted to show you how I documented going to a comedy show with my husband using the same paper, but just like a little twist. So I'm going to grab that yay paper, and I've cut it so that it's an 8-inch across sort of piece. And then I'm just trying to decide how wide to make it, because I like the yay, but I want to make sure that I have a little bit of room on my base page. So what I'm going to do is I take a water brush and go down, just paint the edge, the side on one side, and then I'm just rolling the paper back, tearing the paper and then rolling it back, and that'll give it a nice texture. So then I'm gonna grab my base pages. So I'm doing a double spread. So I cut 2 pieces of candy apple red that are 6 inches by 8 inches. And I'm going to cut the first page, that side, so that it's around 4-ish inches, just to give me enough space for the picture frame that I want to use and a couple other things. So we'll see how that goes. And then I'm going to take the rest of that paper and I'm going to move it over and repeat the same process that I just did. So I'm taking the water brush and I'm going to paint a line down about 4.5 inches or so, tear the paper and roll it back. So I'm going back to the base pages. I'm pulling back the candy apple. And one of the zip strips on the Let's Party paper pack is this really cool like black and white dots. So I'm going to use that just to give a little bit of a border on the side. So I'm using my tape runner to tape down the yay pages. I'm making sure not to like push on the adhesive at all on the edges. So each zip strip is 12 inches, but I'm going down the long edge of the paper. So I'm going to need 8 inches for each one. Luckily, the paper pack comes with 2 in each one. So I'll be able to use both of those so that I can mirror the same sort of graphic on each side, just so that it looks consistent. So then I'm going to grab my black shimmer trim, and I just feel like on the 6x8 pages that it just looks a little bit better when the black shimmer trim is not like that full width. So I like to cut it into about thirds. So I cut it at 8 inches, give or take, and then I just put it on my paper trimmer and then peel up the tape. And then, you can cut it into thirds or halves, whatever looks about right for you. I did the thirds just because it lines up easily on the paper trimmer. And then I can go back and do that for the other side, just so then everything looks like it matches. So with the zip strips, I always go just a hair off, so then that way I can trim everything up at the end. And since I know that I'm not going to use the zip strips for anything else, I might as well just use the pieces and parts. Okay, so now my favorite time, stamping. So I am grabbing the January 2024 stamp of the month, and a pack of Post-it notes. I use Post-it notes to mask off stuff a lot of times, just because they're easier to use. They have the little bit of adhesive on there. So what I did was I stamped the image on a Post-it note, making sure that part of it was on the sticky. And what I'm going to do is I cut out the piece using my die cut machine out of white daisy already, and then I'm putting the part that I don't want to show there in the center. So I'm just lining up. I wanted the outline on the thing, and that was it, because I'm going to fill in the sides with something else. And then I stamped the notepad in periwinkle, just so it looked like a regular loose leaf lined paper. Then I cut out just a ton of those little arrows because I think they're hilarious. And I figured I would use them all over on the layout. So another thing that I really loved from the January catalog was this new alphabet that they had. It was it's got like a nice little shadow on it, and I think the letters are about an inch tall. So I cut out some of the arrows from the stamp of the month stamp set, like with my die cut machine. So I stamped in candy apple red the letters on the arrow flags, and I grabbed my Post-it notes again, and I'm going to use intense black ink because I want the black to just be a dark black, especially with all of the bright colors. You don't really want the black to be like fussy. So I went through and I stamped all the letters that I'm going to stamp down the side. And I'm cutting them out of the Post-it notes so that I can sort of space everything out. It makes me nervous to stamp directly onto something where I've already got the paper on there. And so the Post-it notes really help me figure out the spacing. And then I'm also using a cover sheet just so that I don't get any ink anywhere else on anything. That way I can just sort of figure out, because I want the letters to be at a fun angle because it is a comedy show. And so like the Post-it note letters just sort of help me do that. Plus my intense black ink doesn't dry real quickly. So I just wanted to make sure that nothing got squished over anything else. So we're doing the same thing and putting the words show together. I'm stamping that O directly on my scalloped circle. And then I cut out of the arrow the W and the SH. So it'll just kind of go together. I'm using some liquid adhesive to just sort of put everything together so it looks a little bit like a neon sign or something. So then it'll say comedy show, which is fun. And then at the bottom, it'll just say new adventures. So I matched the angle of the circle to go around the bottom. And then I decided like the other wording wasn't quite working. So I'm just going to add the arrow on the top. And I used charcoal ink to stamp both the arrow and the new adventures on the bottom. So I got a new printer recently from Costco, and we ordered some nice paper. It's like a matte photo paper, and I've had a lot of luck printing out my iPhone pictures that way. So all these photos are straight from my iPhone, and then I printed them to the printer so that I could size everything up or down. The pictures of my husband and I are 3x3, and then the smaller pictures are 2 inches wide. And then the picture of the comedian is 2 inches wide, and that's just the poster promoting it. And then I'd taken a picture of the marquee before we went into the show because phones weren't going to be allowed. So I do struggle sometimes with journaling, so I thought it'd be fun to write a quote from the comedian on the little notebook paper. And then I'm writing the date and the show and the theater that we went and saw, because it was one of our little date nights. So those are all things that I'd like to remember with it. So let's assemble everything. I really love using shaker foam as a 3D foam because it's already pre-cut for you. So I'm putting that on the back of the Polaroid frame die cut. And I'm putting it on the back of the show. So then those two things sort of stand out. And then I'm going to cut out some candy apple red for the frames for the little pictures. That way they'll kind of like tie in together with the sides of the layout. And then I'm using the tape runner to just sort of put everything in. And I don't push everything down and sort of like activate the glue until I'm ready for the placement to be for sure. So another thing that's awesome about the shaker stuff is that it's got a nice release paper on it. So I can put the arrows down and use a tape runner to add adhesive to the back. And then that adhesive won't stick to anything in the sides or anything. And it'll just stick to the arrow and I can use that. I'm also using a piece of 3D foam to pop up one or two of the arrows. Just so then like it pops up a little bit. So I'd like to give it a last look, and I really felt like it was missing something in the center there. So I'm just going to take another piece of that loose leaf die cut from the February stamp of the month and add a little bit more journaling on there. Just to give it a little, to fill up that space a little bit. I just felt like something was missing there, so I'm going to pop it up with 3D foam tape and then cut it off just so that it's at like a similar fun angle, but I think it kind of adds something. And that is the layout. I really enjoyed using the January stamp of the month in a different way, as well as the Let's Party paper in a different way. So I hope this inspires you to try and make this layout, and you can make it as is or make it your own. Just don't forget to stay crafty.